Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, roosters and hens and everything else in between. BAWK missed his line. You got to take Blake's line there. Hello.
Hey, fucking Blake, man. I got no cues on this shit.
You'll figure it out. Oh, someone sounds crisp. And as always, from the Coop Collective, I am Tyler at MBF Express. We have Josh at Grateful Coops. Blake's
Hello.
off tonight with his son with some baseball. Always family first. And Bachfather is here tonight, sounding a lot better.
I hope so.
Indeed.
Glad to be here, guys. Glad you can hear the bass in my voice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds good.
all we heard was the bass in your voice before. It was just
Oh,
echoing off walls. So we're much better now. Happy birthday, Tyler. Thank you, Fledge. It's actually very soon, my birthday. But not actually
Soon.
my birthday right now. Soon, very soon.
when
But
equals soon?
not actual now. But yeah. I fused my happy birthday bird. They're still bad. Still getting a lot of fourths. Anyway, so gentlemen, how are we feeling about Fusion? Everyone's still happy?
Yeah. I mean, I made some pretty cool birds. I
You
missed
said
another.
everybody feel happy
I
or
missed.
still happy?
I missed on my second
Still happy.
chance at 100 Sarama, so
Hmm.
that kind of
I
hurt.
remember. I remember that.
Damn
I
Josh,
you.
don't. I don't think
anyone?
I ever was
Not
happy.
not all of
Like,
us can be lucky like Sydney over here making like six
I
or
mean,
seven
hold on.
hundred
Is
Saramas.
Sid, is Sydney lucky, or is he using 120 serums to get a runic 100 cold snap Sarama?
Bit of
Might be.
both.
That bird is amazing. Honest to
that's a
God,
monster.
and I
Yeah.
think it's only a fresh, which is still like I have two fresh birds that are both quite good. I've also fused the bird about 15 times, and got zero mutations. It's a good bird, but it does not have anything special. It is just an all green lac with thud eyes, and it's a good one. But yeah,
Hey, no FUD in the eyes.
have
No,
the fud in the eyes.
no,
They are the
no,
fud
no.
eyes.
They are the best eyes. You know it.
Over 150 fusion serums for that one from Sydney. He committed. It was funny. I actually did see it pop up. There's a couple new bots hanging around. These are the good kind of bots hanging around in the Chicken Derby Discord. One of them is the Fusion Lab bot. So
Yes.
we are privy to all the beautiful fusions that get dropped. And I saw Sydney. So all it shows is the end result, and then the two material chickens are listed, but I don't know the names yet with everything being fused.
I
And it
fused
just
this
says
guy.
who made it. And since it just said who made it, I was like, Sydney got another runic. And I realized no, he was just continuing the monstrosity that he was running.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good looking bird.
Big props to the bots. Those are really sick. Both the Sail bot and the Fusion bot. They're really. I I dig it. I didn't even look at it for a couple of days and just kind of ignored it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Whoop.
Yeah, sales, listing, and the Fusion Lab, all by way of Kane in the
Yeah.
main Chicken Derby chat, just like the old wrestling Kane, spelled with the K. But yeah, very cool. I also saw today that Apex came in and kind of cleaned up the Discord a little bit. The
Yeah.
new council is now assembled and
Yes.
chatting and a little more formal, which is good to see. We actually have a spot in the Discord now. Everyone has settled in, and we've already opened up our different threads and started talking about different stuff, which is great.
Congratulations
Yeah,
to all the new members. That's great to see everybody joining.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it only made sense.
It became apparent to me the morning of the vote, and I saw that only three people had put in, and it was Mr. Pete, Crazy J, and Ben F. And I think the first person that said something in the main chat was Alariad. And I know he had said something before about just like letting them all in, and it just kind of hit me in the head. I was like, you know what? It's not like we have a line of 8 or 9 people waiting to get in. If ever the case, if it's 8 or 9, then yeah, we can't open the doors and let 8 or 9 people in. It should be a cluster. But with three people, a need for a little bit, I don't want to say it was getting stale, but it's always good to have some new people with some thoughts in there. All three of them have already had great thoughts, and I've already put in some, a little bit of that juice that we've kind of been missing for a little while. So that's helpful. And it just made
No,
sense,
Once I saw a benefit go in, I actually withdraw any thought of putting in an application because my whole key was we got to have a data guy, somebody who understands the numbers. Not that y'all don't, but like somebody who's deep
No,
into
but
it.
well,
And
when we actually read his submission, we found out that he actually has some history of being a game developer. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's no wonder he's figured this thing out as quickly as he has and as well as he has. But what I think it's something, even though it's no secret, Ben F is the most profitable Coop in the game. But he has been
Eh,
very,
if
what
not,
is there some,
if not the top, the second, at
right, he's, he's
least.
he's right there at the top, but he's been very liberal with the amount of information he just throws at us and the blogs he puts together and everything. He wants to see this game shoot up as just as much as anybody. And then, once I noticed, it was like, oh, Mr. Pete, that brings in the Aussies. So Crazy J, that's D3. Almost all the arms of the game are now covered. And, we just brought it to the devs and the council, and we're like, yeah, this makes too much sense. Let's do this. And they were on board, and that was that. So
I love it.
they might release the totals of what the vote was anyway. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. If they want to
Who
do it,
cares?
I guess they'll do it in name of transparency, but it doesn't matter. They're all in, and we're happy to have them. So far,
I
it's been a
mean,
really good experience.
doesn't really matter to me. They all got put in.
My one concern
Like, that's
my
awesome.
one concern
That's what
about
they.
this setup and this vote was that it was gonna become some sort of popularity contest, and it would
Yeah,
be like and it wasn't. It was classy and letting those three folks are great candidates. Every one of them. I've talked
Yeah.
to them individually. Like they're all wonderful people as far as this game goes. Like
And I think
I
all of
couldn't
their
be
stuff
happier.
was well written. So I mean, why
Except
not?
Crazy J,
there's
fuck him.
yeah, there's zero moments where I would call Crazy J a wonderful person, but I'm still happy to have him there.
Yeah.
Still very much needed. No,
I'm
he's great.
totally joking.
No, I'm not.
I love you, Jay.
But but yeah, good to see that went smooth. It really, I do now feel like the council does have a very fair array of the entire community at heart. And now we roll through and we start setting up. Obviously, it's a pivotal time for the game in general. The next move coming up is something to do with, we don't know this for sure yet, but something to do with land or something to do with stadiums or something to do with new race formats. We all know
Right.
that stuff's on the table. So that's where we're heading to next. And that's because I know they really want to try to roll out the marketing with land and these next few steps.
It's a great question. And NBF, do we have a moment to maybe review some of your polls you put up? And thank you for doing those.
Yeah,
We
sure.
had some numbers that we asked on that, and we put out, or you put out. I didn't do shit. We put
Yeah,
out,
you do
or
know.
you put out. Hey, what do we want to do in these scenarios? There's a couple different options here.
Right.
We've
Poll question one, right off the bat, this was the one that kind of, and this all came from, the council. So like we're not allowed to tell you exactly what's being said there, but like you get a pretty good idea of the things we're discussing when I put a poll question out, because we do want to find out what y'all are thinking. So the very first one that brought up was just, what features would you like to see implemented next by the Chicken Derby team? Now, there was some nuance probably needed here because a lot of people were asking, well, how quickly? Like, what's the next thing? And basically, my thought was, if you could just close your eyes and wake up tomorrow, what would you want to have ready to go? The choices were land, mint development, stadiums, mint, and a quick utility, new racing formats, sound effects, and general UI improvements, overhaul of the seasons and new formats, breeding development, or quest and weekly challenges. And two of them rose to the top. There was a smattering of others throughout the other five, but we had 20 votes for land mint development and 25 for new racing formats.
This is in the Coop Collective one or in the
Yep.
main Discord one?
This one's in the Coop Collective one in Poll's community. The reason I know Fenduino was like, why not do it in the main Discord? Well, I can't ping everybody in the main Discord, and at least in Coop Collective, I'm pinging 375 people so they can actually see it. So we threw them in the main Discord as well, just to get a little bit of feedback, and it came back basically the same. I don't actually know if it's still there because
oh yeah,
Apex
there's some
cleaned up all
movement.
the channels.
But it's
So
like, okay,
Well,
so we
I've
want
got
all,
ours. I'm just trying to get it pulled up here, so bear with me.
right.
but we want all formats. It sounds like that's the community wants that.
Yeah,
I
racing
think that
formats, land
one
development. Yeah.
in land, you know where I'm at on that.
Mm-hmm.
110 on land. Look, but we could do both. We could do more than one thing at once. And I think this actually I realized it today. I don't remember, was it Ives that posted, or and apologize if I'm not getting credit to the right person, but uh, I realized that the difference between the timers for the big money races
Mm-hmm.
and the new formats, it's the same lift. It's very in line with each other. If we can figure
They are.
those two
Yeah.
things out, we've got alt formats and we've got timed big races at the same time. Like it
Right.
should be the same code.
So, and on that note, um, I kind of feel like it would make a lot of sense. Land is going to take some time. Land, I'm going to put a moderate estimation, 3 months, like to really get land pumping. So we're going to have some time in between where we're going to need to be quelled a touch, and I think that's a perfect spot for a couple new race formats. Maybe not all of them, but maybe you get a couple new things in there, especially if we get some type of timer or something on the big races. That was actually we can jump down a little bit if you want to, but that was an absolute smash. Yes, there
Did
was
you say
only
3 months on land?
yeah,
Dang.
that was like a just moderate, like before it even gets rolling. I know they've done some work on it, but I'd be curious to see how much they actually have ready to roll for
I
land
would
at this
love to
point.
know if we are at 3 or if we're at 6, because I
Right,
feel like
sure.
we're at probably a 6, and that's maybe just because we don't know.
I think 3 to 6 is more than fair.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 is super optimistic, and 6 is a little more a little more realistic with maybe some hiccups in between, right?
Yeah.
So
Talking about
from
important
there,
topics. I'm getting warm in here. Woo! Go take off
attaboy.
the hoodie.
The next thing we brought up, and obviously land development and new racing formats, they seem to be the most in question. The only other
Right.
one that brought up this one didn't get quite as much love. This one asked about the pop PO setup and what MPO implemented. That one they had 13. That's the most. That seems to be the one people are most interested in maybe returning to.
Right.
Obviously, there's still some issues there, but we'll get into that extensively in a bit because I know that's something worthy of just kind of spreading out a little bit and talking about.
Yeah.
And the only other one that was brought up that mattered had everything to do, well, two of them actually, with the big money races. What do we do with them? Maybe Josh should recuse himself from this one because he has about $90 sitting in one of these races. But yeah, we have several races right now that are absolutely stuck because there are birds that are now no longer allowed in that PO because of MPO, locked up in there. No one wants to join them,
Yeah.
and people's money is kind of just sitting ugly right now.
Yeah.
Probably a misstep. Probably should have been cleared right off the bat. We probably
Mhm.
should have cleared that when MPO happened.
That's. I mean,
Um,
I believe I made that suggestion then,
you
as
did.
well.
You did.
And that race has sat at 4 of 12 since then, and it's been 4 of 12
Mhm.
for 6 months. I feel like. I mean, I
I
don't
feel
know.
like the answer is pretty simple here. For the races that have birds that are MPO that should be locked out, those ones that have birds entered already that should be locked out, we probably need to just kill those and refund them. The ones that were done after MPO, or everyone is suited where they should be, let's test it out and put a timer on those. Let's go ahead and just try it. Let's put the timer on it and see if they kick off. And
Do
don't
you
run
want a
them right
run
away.
timer, or do you want a run and cancel, or are you looking for a run and run? Well, actually, do you want to cancel or do you want to run?
Well, it'll come down to what the devs can do with it and how they want to actually code that out. I'd love to see that it run if they get to at least 8, but we could also see, it'd be awesome if we if we saw some heads up or lower stuff, but I don't know if they're ready to code that yet or where they're sitting on that part yet. So I would hope that when a timer's put on it, that people would see, okay, this race is guaranteed to run by Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that will either get people to jump in right then, or they'll see, oh, I have a shot to actually have some action here on Friday night right away if I just jump in and pound this. So I'd love to see anything 8 and above run, and just test it out, see where the community feels on that, because I know everyone wants to see these big money races pop off, but right now there's not a whole lot of urgency to do so.
Yeah, I mean, and to be frank, like I entered that when that race generated, I was the first bird in that race, right? And this was a while before the classes, a little while before the classes were like really bad, right? So like the classes were still pretty competitive, and my bird, I felt my bird could handle, about any race I put it in, because that was about that time that it was still okay to race in A class and B class wasn't, and and so on. So then I entered that race, and then fast forward about a month and a half, about a month or so, and then 200 sultans show up, and it's like, hey, how you doing, little fella? It's like, oh,
and
man,
that's it, 412,
and then that's it. It's sat there since then, because no one wants, no one's gonna enter that race. And then it's especially when MPO got introduced, and it was like, well, no one's definitely entering this race, because if anyone were smart, they'd look at, well, wait a minute, there's 100 sultans in here, they can't even be in this class. So nope.
Well, that's why I think it makes sense. It's pretty simple to me. If you refund those races, that also throws a little bit of money back into the pool for people to get into the other big races, because clearly people want to gamble.
I'd buy more
fusions
if they got in and start mashing more birds.
Well, that too, yeah.
Because I'm a degenerate.
But there's also a handful of people who made a mistake. And I know that's not.
Yep, there is a handful, and more than I even Fiandono was saying it earlier today. He'd say, what did he say? Like 80% or like 50% of those were probably mistakes.
Right. So it would be nice, and we're not setting a crazy precedent here, but just this one time as we overhaul what big races will look like. Because I'd also have to imagine, you put a timer on them, that's great. We also might need to maybe limit the ones that are up there, so people are inclined to get into them. That's also something that you might see, as long as there are different levels.
Listen,
maybe you see a couple of them pop off.
If it was a timer, and if it hit a certain number like 8 and then ran, or if it didn't hit that didn't hit 8 birds in the race, it doesn't run, and it just regenerates, or it sends a new race out. I don't know if regenerates would be the one, because if it didn't fill the first time, it probably wouldn't fill the second time. So spit a different one out, right?
I'm less than inclined to be okay with just canceling. Like I want the code is not that hard, right? Like we have code for 8 bird races already. It's not hard. It is very straightforward. If we start the quell of cancel, then just every freaking big race gets canceled. Like all that is a savings account that doesn't pay dividends. Like I'd like to see these run. If it's 2 birds, fuck it. If they put out the payout structure, right? What is a 2 bird? What is a 3 bird? What is a 4 bird? What are all those pay out? Fuck it, let's run them. Let's see some birds run.
Now the only question is, does that mean the contract has to change?
Yes, it does.
That's the right. So that's the only dev work there, is that they'd have to change the contract, cancel it.
Oh my God.
Maybe a little bit faster, but yeah.
A on-chain game has to change the contract. Jesus Christ, we're gonna have to freaking end the world here.
No. Yeah, I get it. It's just something that makes it faster and whatnot. But although it would be nice, I forget, this is one of those situations again. Josh, I love how that bird didn't move forward whatsoever. You threw 2 rockets and it literally didn't move forward at all. That was brutal.
Oh, the race earlier?
Yeah,
my Sarama.
Yeah.
But that's the pivot. Not to lose it, that's the pivot.
Oh, I am behind.
The other conversation is we want alternate formats have been voted highly. So these 2 problems, they fix each other. right? So we
They
get
do.
alternate formats, and we get the big race payouts on a timer, or the big race runs, not a payout, or you know what I mean. I think that's like key to, from a dev perspective, it's not really any different. It is a little bit, but come on, it's only a couple if statements. We
Well,
can
on that
really
note,
do
like
both of those.
that's the thing. Even if we, I would love to attribute this to the right person again, but I forget who said it. I'm reading too much stuff. But if we had 80% of the dev team push towards getting land going and a 20% time push towards getting these new formats out, I feel like that kind of makes sense. It gives us a little bit of something to have in the meanwhile as we're ramping up for land, and call it what it is right now. We do kind of desperately need a little bit of something to push everyone to race and to have some fusion is fun, and we love fusion, and we fused a ton of birds. I think we're almost let's see what's the last one is. We're definitely in the 700s right now, and I know this number is not perfect. 742 was the last bird that was fused. There might be more birds than that because after a bird gets named, that number rotates back in sometimes, or at least that was a glitch at one point. But yeah, this horrendous looking thing that Donkey Bird's put together. He has a Devo lizard eye, manic mint, but it also has the dragon beak.
Right there.
It is a boring.
Oh, the dragon beak.
Yeah, the
95 Devo lizard dragon beak.
That's a good bird. That's better be a good bird, and it's a robust. So
it's in D class.
With that one.
It's a D class warrior. Yeah.
So hold on.
So I think this comes around to the freaking. It doesn't. You're robust, spicy, all that. In racing, I don't think that matters too much. If you've got talent stacked, you're stacked. It don't matter what.
It matters in the sense that
sometimes.
It matters in the sense that of all the factors, your stock's a little bit lower, but on the other things, it's higher. So it's just one factor. Stock might be a big factor, but it's just one factor.
Right. So while yes, it matters to match your talent to talent preference and stuff like that, it is also. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. It doesn't seem to pan out on some birds, and maybe that's just a product of the bird itself, or a low consistency reroll, which sucks because you can't see that number, so you don't know. But it's also evident in racing, I'm assuming, or talent deployment, that kind of thing. Because say this, I mashed my second attempt at 100 Sarama was. I took an okay 100 moving walkway lack and turned it into a not okay 100 moving walkway lack because it's just doesn't get wins, and its talent never goes off. It's just like, what's happening here? I've got it matched. Like, what's the problem? And I think that bird's just junk.
Well, what's interesting,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. If I could do this all over again, I would focus way more on trying my best to line up preferences that I knew, exclusively. I did it on a few.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew what they were, but
in this case,
didn't get lucky rolls,
So this is a 95 lack. So a 95 lack being in D class is normal, but it's a 95 lack with Devo with Lizard Eye. It's a lack, so there's a good chance it has the talent preference matched up, and it has the magic beak.
Well, it does have the talent preference matched up, because if it has the magic beak, it has a magic talent preference.
Right. So everything is lined up with this bird, yet it's still a D bird. So what went wrong? And that's the weird part.
Consistency, terrain preference.
Exactly. Those things seem to matter more.
Maybe it doesn't have a terrain preference per se, or one that stands out as much.
Not to mention that fucking beak is ugly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good on any bird. I thought it would look good on a lack. And
there's been some pretty decent fusions. Like, Tyler, I see this is your refuse of Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
If you could find a bird with that beak that looks good, let me know. Because it is just
gingerbread feet, 97 Rama gingerbread feet. Lucky.
Yeah, there's been some good ones lately. It's
Rose,
obviously slowed down a little
clucking
bit, but there's
Crazy J with a rose.
Oh,
There is the 100
Oh,
Sarama Cold Snap White Beak that
oh God,
Sydney
that just
put
looks
so many
together.
pretty.
runics.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
That's a pretty
With the
bird.
white comb and wattle, it just ties it all
Yeah, the
together.
white matching the.
It just ties
You
the
don't
room
even need
together.
any wearables on that. Put some shoes on that bird and let it run. Mm, num num.
Yeah, it's
Black feet?
basically a perfect bird. Yeah.
Black feet?
How the fuck does it have black feet?
No, get that
Wait.
baby black feet.
Oh, oof.
That would be cool. It's the only
That'd be
thing
wild.
you could upgrade. Just put black feet on it, really.
Oh, okay.
It's the only thing. Yeah.
Oh man,
99 Rama.
There was
Damn.
one bird that I thought looked pretty good. I just saw one that
Oof,
was
that's mine.
all white with the the dragon beak. Not great. All white and the dragon beak, not great. There's one that looked pretty good. I will eventually find it, but
There's my 93 lac.
Hey, by the way,
Orange
out there,
Will.
Twitter or YouTube folks, let's slam that freaking thumbs up thing. Like, we got 5 people. Or are we just talking to ourselves here? Let's
Pretty
let's get
much.
excited about this.
we're always talking to ourselves.
Well,
a
if we
little
want to
bit,
get
so-
into any races, we can do that too. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, I can, bro. I can get in there, but I really
Well,
want.
at the moment-
one of the things I wanted to talk about was dynamic PO.
Right,
POP.
good time to get
How
in.
do we work this in?
Just force it. Right now, go.
Slam
So
Oh,
it.
dynamic
Round peg,
PO,
square hole.
Yeah, dynamic PO, dynamic MPO, however you want to look at it. The basic idea is return to a dynamic form of racing instead of the locked 2-week set for seasons, but remain with the MPO designation that doesn't allow your bird to go lower than it should. I think there's a lot of benefits from this one. There also is some cons, but let's start with the benefits, what we like about it. So what's the thing you like about it the most, BAWK?
It's the dynamic play. Not racing the same birds for 2 weeks at a
Mhm.
time. It ebbs and it flows, and it's got a life of its own. I like that.
Yeah, that is by and large, I think the best part of it if we do decide to go that direction, because right now you kind of get a pretty damn good idea after about 3 or 4 days which birds are going to rake and which birds aren't. And then you go ahead and bench them for a bit, or you sprinkle it in left and right here and there as you need to try to downclass them by the end of the season. But the same birds absolutely rip, and then we do it all over again. And it's the
Sure.
problem there is it's pretty simple. I mean, it says it for itself. I have a bird. I have a very good bird, the Rebel Scum 100 moving walkway. That is in A class, and it is 41, 17, and 11 in 177 races.
woof.
So, yeah, it's absurd right now. And
Well, I know who's taking all of El Diablo's money as he's trying to get out of
Yeah.
A class.
Well, it's damn near a 50% win bird right now on its preferred track in snow. Now, this will happen every other season because I will work my ass off to get it back down to A again, because it's really not a good S bird whatsoever. So it's not that hard. I just have to commit to it. With that problem, you have them all over the place. You have these birds that just dominate the time, and then other people that can't compete. Whereas if it's moving fluidly up and down, even if you widen the POs, if it's moving freely up and down, my bird will, after probably the way it was going, after probably 10 races, if it got 7 out of 10 podiums, it's probably moving up. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You should, if you can run your bird 10 times in a PO, that's pretty good.
I think that's one of the things that's really been missing in the game since I was, if anybody knows Clark Morris chat, I was really, really adamant, to an annoying level about how locking the POs would, thank you, would be this bad. I mean, I guess honestly, I have to tell you, it probably isn't as bad as I laid it out. but I'm still just as unhappy with the results. It like it's just stale. It's every 2 weeks due to like this tournament. Like if it would, I'm not to pivot, but this event, like I don't think I'm now. I don't think I'm going to get one wearable. Fuck this.
Yeah,
Like,
this is a bit of a
Yeah.
tough event because we don't quite have the volume. The prizes are a little bit lower, and they were set at USD, which is another thing we can get into.
Yes, that's
Well,
that was yeah. Go ahead. You can
Go ahead,
finish.
Josh.
that's a topic.
Well,
I
I
mean,
just
yeah,
to say I the whole change up from a percentage of the rake to a set value of the rake. I think that discourages people from racing. And Daniel said earlier, it may not even be a bad idea even if you could tier that out or scale that out and pay like top 3 or top 5 in some way to where it's still an incentive to keep racing even once you realize you're not going to get first. Okay, well maybe I can still get second, or no, well maybe I can still get third. Whereas now it's like, if I don't get first, well, shoot. Well, I guess maybe I can hang in and get a wearable, and then once that's gone, it's like, all right, well, I'm not racing that bird anymore because I'm broke.
Now, at the moment, I have every single reason in the world to do Rebel Scum because he's doing really well, but I don't really have a great chance of getting first place in A. Uh, Believe Chicken Club is crushing that right now. He's got a 100-point lead on me, so I don't really see where I'm going to catch up to him in 4 more days with 2 more challenges. So yeah, it's kind of over because the second place prize is okay.
Right.
It's actually nothing that special. Second and third are actually the same prize. So it doesn't, I don't see a huge reason to really push through right now besides some wearables. So yeah, maybe this is just a placeholder tournament. They can't all be bangers. But
No.
the thing about setting the tournaments at the rake percentage is that it simply means if you race more, you get more benefit of winning more. And that pushes volume at least a little bit more than just a set number as we have here.
Well, also what's really funny to me, at least, is the last event. Um, I think what were there 3 sets of wearables?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have, what is it, 6?
Yes. Well, I think is it
Or I totaled them up
It's
earlier.
it's 4 and then
4 and 2 dog tags?
Okay,
Yeah.
there's okay, so that's 4, 3, 3, 3. So you're gonna get shoes.
Yeah,
Like,
these are going to be wildly limited.
I'm gonna work all this. I mean, and honestly, what sucks is I love these wearables more than any other wearable ever. This is the first time I'm actually gonna start looking on secondary. They're gonna be so rare I can't afford them. Like, it's bullshit in my opinion.
That's the tough part here, man, because the one thing they can give us that, I don't want to call it free because their devs are still doing it, but in essence, the one thing they can just give us is these wearables. And we're still kind of making us work really hard for some of them. And they are keeping them limited and all, but it gets to a point where a lot of us don't just want to run for wearables, especially if we have to run that hard or use an excess amount of our ETH to
I
try
don't want
to
to
do it.
lose for wearables. I don't want to excessively lose for wearables. I know I saw at JSD, I think, said he was in line for like 15 if he kept going. That's JSD. Dude has like 500 birds.
Mm-hmm.
15's not a lot. He just pounds the races right now and every chance he gets, and 15 isn't that much.
That means the average player, if we look at some of our loved ones, like Little Bala, how many is she going to get in this one?
I mean, the tournament rules show you get once you get 5 stars, it's a raffle entry. 6 stars, you get a common or uncommon fatigues or uniform.
But look at the raffle prizes. There's not even one of the fucking wearables in there.
Where are these prizes?
You mentioned Little Bala, and she actually said outright, I'm going to run for profit this season because I don't see the justification in this setup that we had to run for these wearables. So I do agree something needs to be adjusted there, no doubt. And until another thing that is kind of tough about this is, this is not me complaining because I'm very happy with how it's turned out. But I just told
You're
you
not complaining?
no, just hold on. Let me finish. I just told you my bird was 41, 19, and 14 and 178 or whatever it is. I'm up $100, which is awesome. But only thing that's filling is the cheapest races. That's it. There is
Yep.
no incentive right now to get even. Like I think that bird sat in a $1.85 race for $1.87 race for like it was like 3 or 4 days. Like we need an incentive to run those, and I don't see why most events don't have some type of incentive for any prize pool or $15 to
Right.
just to have some type of boost to get some other things pumping through, because that's what makes this game fun. Yeah, we do like running for the events and for different things, but we also like to run these races, but we also don't want to enter like this A 100 dirt as 374, $3.74. That's not a lot, but it's 7 of 12. I go ahead and throw it in there. I check back tomorrow. It's 9 of 12.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about degenerates, the thing about us gambler types, Josh and I know this all too well. We had a group of our buddies that we used to bet $50 to $500 a night, depending on how well we were doing and how things were going in sports betting, because it was instant
Y'all
action. We
gamble?
had it in the moment. Like,
And
not
like
much
4 or
anymore,
5 like $50 8-leg parlays.
ridiculous shit.
I'm a Christian. Do y'all?
But the other thing of it, Tyler, is it's not everybody's a
Guys,
degenerate gambler. Whereas
they're
it's
out
more
there.
of like it's more ADD. Like I don't have the time or patience to sit there and wait 5 days for this race to fill because I'm just
That
gonna
too.
lose interest.
Instant
I'm a
If
gambler, guys.
this race
And
jumped in and it was
Yeah.
ready to go maybe by tomorrow, you know what I mean, or like 2 days at maximum
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's a bigger race.
if it's
That's
Friday
what we're going
night
for.
and
But I mean,
it's
Volume
payday
Cures
Friday,
new users
and I'm
is going
like,
to do that. I don't know.
oh boy, I'd throw $100 on a race on a Friday night if I knew it filled that night.
Sure. I
Like,
mean,
let's do it. Like, let's
you know
party.
Eggy. Yeah, you know Eggy, and they can
Oh
win at
yeah,
anything, almost anything. So might as well
the
throw it in
coin
there.
flip with him, by the way, or her, by the way.
Right, sure, but that's why you're doing it. That's why you
Let's
love
do
your
it. Yeah.
relax the way you do.
I mean, Diablo's the same way. I'd throw that bird
Mhm.
in any 200, 180 dirt or 180, 200 road or track against any bird in A class or B class
Yeah.
or wherever, B class where it's MPO.
I've got a handful
I
of
don't
birds.
fucking know.
Yeah.
I used to go toe to toe with all the birds in A class, and then we got MPOs in, and now it's like I'll do pretty well in B class, and now I can't do anything in A class. So,
But I'm at the same spot. I have a handful of birds all throughout the different TOs where if something's there and it's like, I can get the $30-$40 action right now in 15 minutes. All right, let's go. I'm in. Like it's going to happen. I know that doesn't speak for everybody, and different people play this game for different reasons, but that's also how you market this damn game, is to tell people like, yeah, there are these big money races popping off all the time. And the only way that's going to happen is if something gets infused into it, because people don't want to wait around. I think, Josh, you're right. You're dead right. It's the ADHD part of it. It's just the patience part of it. Even if you don't have ADHD, even though most of us do in this damn space, it's just
I
the
want
patience.
to race. I want to race.
yeah.
Right.
Well, let's
You
race.
just want to race.
I want to race. I want to race.
Okay.
No, it's absolutely it. And you know what? We
Wanna
are
race right now.
We
Get in
are
these
not
races.
to the part of the game yet where we are at the grind point. We started at the grind point, I feel, but we need to get into that flux part before we get to land. We need to get this shit moving. And I'm, by the way, I'm going to call another pivot here. Wham won't fucking win this one. Coop Collective, you
might.
turn. No, he won't. Telling you, I'm entering this one with Eggy. It's over.
Okay, fair
Wham,
enough.
you're fucking out.
So yeah, we have the Coop Collective Sprints number 4 has well, the registration has launched. This one is, you think you're better than me? You think you're better than me? It's the U tournament. And in this one, we had some interesting feedback early on about how we can make this a little bit different, and we're definitely open to the idea of running a U tournament every single month and maybe putting little tweaks to it here and there to change it up. But this one's straightforward. no points for finishing in 4th through 9th. It's 25 for first, 20 for second, 13 for third. We made that 13 a little pivot there. Homage to the fact we're running 13 races, but also to kind of mix up the ties a little bit and make sure it doesn't hit there. Gives a little bit extra to the first and second. And then on the way down,
Waiver.
12th place, 25, 11th place, 20th, 10th place, 13. You got to get a down class or a win in order to score in this tournament. So this one could have crazy swings of who actually wins this one, because you may have 5 races left and only add 13 more points. Oh, we have a little typo there. I see it says 10 points for 9. So we gotta catch that, but that's fine. Well, I'll show you that later. But yeah,
shit, I'll fix that.
Yep, we could have these crazy swings right now on this one. So this one's gonna be painful. 13 races. You're gonna have to be a little patient, but not too patient, because you only have 48 hours to run it, and volume's a little sketchy right now. So
the volume is not going to support you waiting around for all of that. I was actually going to put 2 in this because I've got a bird I'm downclassing, which, by the way, is an E-class bird that is in, I think, frickin' B, or B. Honestly, the fucker will still win.
That might do it.
Jetpack. Strike Force 9. Love you. But
I know,
this is going to be a fun one, because it really is going to be that you can't just, we don't have the volume to sit back and be like, I'm going to cherry pick.
Yeah.
Maybe a call for us to even tighten up these sprints going forward. I'd like to see a 4-hour sprint. Like, I want to see 10 races in 4 hours, right?
If volume is right, we can do it. That's the cool thing about it. If the volume is there, we can absolutely do it. I was just
like
saying,
on when the first day of the team event, dude. First day of the team event, that was just like
easy. The only thing slowing you down there is the race queue being an hour deep.
Right.
But that's what's a bummer right now, is that we're sitting right now at the game where things are not moving well, but we're not that far removed from the longest wait time we've ever had for the team event. So hitting these events right definitely matters. Maybe the next couple ones we see are a little bit different, and obviously with the expanded council now, I hope that they are very open about everything they're going to put out, and we can pick it apart and really craft these so there isn't some type of mishap, like where it's like that's too hard to get the wearables, or people won't race because they don't like the prizes or anything of that matter.
I think you're highlighting something that, I mean, welcome new council members. I'm not on the council. I don't fucking know anything about it. But from what I know from just, what Tyler shared, sometimes they don't always listen to the council or consult the council.
True.
And so the council's not at fault for those decisions. We maybe need to have Delhi and Apex kind of shift over to ownership on, hey, we engaged on this, we didn't decide to follow it, because I don't feel like it's right for the council, new and old, to get pariahs of the community because something happens and they had no fucking life of it.
Right.
It was kind of another reason why I was happy to see the 3 more come in, because it's now a larger subset. Everything feels a little bit more like it's evened out, and there's more voices. That's the thing too. At first, with just Snorlax, Ross, Fledge, and myself, we weren't always there at the same time too. So that always kind of was tricky. Like sometimes we'd be waiting to hear from someone, or this wouldn't get the attention it should. Now, this isn't breaking any news. I'm not telling you what we're talking about, but we've already broken down the council into separate threads, so these main points get talked about. We're chatting in there about those parts, and then when the real stuff comes up and they actually prompt it, we'll have a legit meeting together to talk it out and come to. Now that it's basically we talk about the different ideas kind of freely in the threads, and then when the time comes, we'll really set something out in stone. So I'm hoping for a little bit more structure out of the new council, and just a little more inclusivity, letting us know exactly what they're doing with these events, because we got to hit these events. These events have to work well. And it's not that this is a bad event. It's just the incentives weren't quite there.
Right.
And
You know what?
some of the challenges were just race.
Ooh, is my
They weren't
donkey gonna win a race?
This is what here's what pisses me off on this
My
one.
donkey's gonna win a race?
Attaboy.
Oh,
No.
nope, teased.
No,
Ah!
no, you're not. Why'd you say something, man? You freaking fall back.
Just dies,
Oh
man.
my god, you son of a bitch.
Death in
Just
30. 30-meter death.
dies.
Oh man.
No, it's one of the things that it's kind of frustrating because, at least to me, because I know Mr. Punch Plump has really pushed quests, whatever the fuck that means.
Well, just that's like a
This
daily
is
challenges, weekly challenges, monthly
it's something
things.
that
Yeah.
I hate to bring up Bala twice. Shout out Bala. I'm thinking about you tonight on the show. A lot of good suggestions from her. And really, one of the ones that we talked about a long time ago was dailies, weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies. Quarterlies being seasons in my head. We saw what could be dailies, or we're seeing what could be dailies or weeklies. They're really definitely put some thought into it, maybe a little bit too much. The for what I think of whatever I figured it was 13 to 15 wearables, like it's really tough. Loosen that up a little bit, and this is like engagement on a daily basis. This is what we've been asking for.
That's how I feel about it. I feel that this, like Ellie did put a lot of thought in this, and I don't think it's a poorly constructed event. It's just I'm not sure that this format is enough to drive a full event, but it very much is a good format to sprinkle in, as you were saying, throughout the week as a secondary challenge, as a side quest, these kind of things. You're sitting there and you go, oh shit, I need to get another 6th or 7th today. Like, and you don't even think about it. If you need a 6th or a 7th, you're just gonna throw in any bird because it can happen at any time. There's not a whole lot of planning you can do to try to get a 6th or a 7th. You have a couple birds that might give you that idea, but it's not something that is going to drive races to go try to get a 6th or a 7th, but it does give you those little ancillary goals to go for. So I do think there's something to be gained from this. Like you were saying, BAWK, there are things that we can push forward from this. It's just not, I don't think it stands alone well enough in its own event.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a daily, or it shouldn't be a big event. I think that's a good lesson learned, though. I'd be curious, like I haven't even got close to 10 podiums. Look at the races haven't ran, or the races didn't ran. I guess it's already over with. They didn't run I really wanted some camo stuff. Really, really wanted it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm not sure yet. And hope maybe they'll redo it again at some point. Maybe that's the thing they're thinking, is that they'll release these again at some point. I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like they're just for this event, but I get it.
I mean, the event wearables have been straight up only the event. I mean, here's the thing though, I feel like they could mint more of them at a later time if they really wanted to, right? I mean,
sure. I don't see why not.
I don't see why they couldn't. But
they could also just make small changes
when you make limited wearables. I mean, but maybe maybe next year, when you have to dip back into the well, you could do another one similar to this, same wearables, right? I don't know.
It'd be nice if they were slightly different. I think that's not too much.
Maybe change the colors on them, or what comes with them, other accessories that could go with the previous sets.
True. To try to build stuff out. Yep.
People out there in YouTube land, I am buying freaking camo wearables. just
release them.
Do you guys want to get in some races, or no?
Yeah, I think at this point
Nancy over here by myself.
We can do that.
We've covered quite a bit as far as what we really want to get into.
Sydney, I agree.
We are.
We just said I think Trippa's 100 translucent Ceramas with teal comb and wattle is by by far his favorite looking fused bird. Yeah,
man,
it's pretty.
You exclude that plucked bird, man. Who was that?
What's that?
The plucked birds, man. That's
Tyler's
pretty.
got one.
Yeah, I got one of
Ugly's
them.
pretty.
I think the Chig has one.
I threw
Oh,
the
Chicks
Rasta
yeah,
hat.
Chicks is the one I was looking at. That's a beautifully ugly bird.
Yeah. Throwing the
Yeah, I
Rasta hat
haven't
on
gotten
there
a
just looks
single
so good.
mutation yet.
Me
I'm
either.
bummed. And
We're on a hiatus from BAWK Mama and we are anti-fuse for a little bit. We completely decimated the coops, both mine and hers.
Just gotta slow it down a little. Yeah.
We didn't get shit.
Mine's
so.
not decimated. I still have some things on my mind that I want to fuse. Like I'm pretty sure I'm trying again with this asshole, but I'm gonna fuse it with this asshole, but put a white beak on it. Hopefully, if anything, it'll pop out
for the listeners.
and I may lose the moving walkway too. But at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't.
You can't
really
do
care.
that. It's one of the best talents in the game. You can't lose moving walkway.
That's a tricky bird, though. I mean, that bird, not to get
I just
too
need to keep racing
here.
it, I guess. But
that bird it has been put together through an amalgam of bad birds.
Oh yeah, let's look at the genealogy
that's
here.
The problem. Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's something we hadn't covered. Genealogy was released.
Genealogy is awesome. Very happy to have that, so we can actually go back and look and see. You can click right to it, so you can see the birds that used to be there.
90 Sarama moving walkway. I fused him with my 100 teleport lack, and I locked the tech talent preference of Mr. Scotty here, and locked. Wait. I couldn't have locked moving walkway. Oh, I had to roll the dice on it. I locked 100.
You rolled the dice on that, yeah.
Got moving walkway. So I got a lack moving walkway with a talent preference match, which I named Natarama 100. Not bad. Was an okay bird. Like a 10. Was probably on the verge of being like a 10 or 11%, 30% podium. I decided to try my luck.
You really know that, man. You did not race enough races to actually say that's a 10 to whatever.
At the time, it was. I mean, I was 80 races in with it. Yeah. You say you could figure a bird out in 20 races. I was like 70 or 80 races in with this bird.
Okay, all right. I can do it in 50. All right. Fair.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't just race it 10 times and go, yep. 10 and 30.
Natarama had 80 races. It was 6, 10, and 8 in 80 races.
Yeah. So I mean, it was on the verge of 9 to 10%. I mean, like I said, not great. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, you're gonna try again. So I had Cherry Garcia here, my nice moving walk. Not nice. He's shit. He was not a good racing bird. 91 moving walkway Sarama. Cherry Dusk. And I tried to get the Sarama again, and I got cock teased again. Got the Sarama colors, but the bird came out the other way. And
what is it?
It's a 100 Lackenvelder moving walkway again.
Dude, you fucking have the best bird ever. Come on. It's a lack.
No, it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
What is he? What's his data? Bad. It's in 70 races, he's 3, 8, and 6.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
It just didn't pan out. And that's the weird thing about it. It just did not pan out.
But now, is that a product? Yeah. That's a product of probably putting in a mediocre bird with 2 other mediocre birds, and the rolls just didn't go in my favor. But on the flip side, I've had a couple fuses where I've rolled a couple mediocre birds. Not even mediocre. I mean, Captain Cluckhold was garbage.
Bad.
1, 15, and 15 in like 180 races. That bird was never going to win.
Holy crap.
Yeah, 1 win. Yeah. And I got that 1 win at like what, Tyler? Was it like race 170 something?
Yeah, it was really early. It was really
160 something. We thought it was a record at the time. But anyway, and then so I fused it with another donkey. But I mean, Captain Cluckhold had the eye patch, so I gave him the helicopter, right, to match. Fused it with another not great bird. And that bird's kicking ass in D class. So, I mean, it can happen, but it just didn't go in my favor with the lack. And here's the thing with the lacks, right? You fuse a lack with a not good Sarama, you're probably not going to get a good result. Because if you fuse a not good Sarama with a Dorking, you at least have the potential of boosting a talent or terrain preference And if you're smart and you get a Surama, even if it's not good, that has a terrain preference of, say dirt, and you find a dork that's got a terrain preference of dirt, you mash them together, that shit Surama now likely becomes a really good Surama.
On
but
that
with the
note,
Lackenfelder, the only boost the Lack has is its inconsistency and its terrain or talent preference matches. Now, whether that has much of an effect, apparently not so much here, because new Cherry Garcia's talent never fires.
It didn't get that talent.
It did. I locked it.
Not that it didn't get what you think it got. So talent preference and talent preference strength are two different things. One is pre-rolled, one is not. I've got a weird ass freaking bird that like it will pop its talent like 3 times in a race all the time now. Like it
does it
came
win
from
much?
the Lack. Yeah, it's okay. I honestly have.
Can you lock talent preference strength?
You can't. Yeah.
No, you can't.
None of the strengths. Yeah, none of the strengths you can lock.
So, but wouldn't talent preference? But tell me why talent preference strength wouldn't be directly correlated to talent preference.
I can't fucking tell you why. What I can tell you is they're two different things. There is,
but wouldn't they be one and the same though? That's my question.
No, they're not.
I can tell you this. Here's what I can tell you for sure. Talent preference gives you a boost to your talent preference strength. So if your talent preference, no, hold on. Your talent preference strength is a number, and that is the strength of your talent preference. So it's like 7. But if you have your talent preference matched up, you then get a boost to your talent preference strength.
Yeah, semantics. It's the other way around. You're describing it backwards. But yes, no, your talent preference is enhanced by your talent preference strength. So your talent preference is here, it's A. Your talent preference strength is X. And if those line up, then boom, it happens.
All right, I'll have to look and see how Delhi did it again. But one way or another,
that's the way I understand it.
We're basically the same thing. One of them is by the other. It's just
every Lackenfelder that I've mashed together, I have done it with its. If I say I wanted like jetpack or helicopter or a white beak, like I was moving a white beak into a Surama, I was putting that. I matched talent preference. Yeah, talent preference to the talent that I wanted. And one of them I rolled the dice, the other one, like if like a magic Lackenfelder with a fan group or Spirit fan group, Spirit Lack with a fan group Surama, and put them together with the white beak, and it's not a good bird. The same thing with the moving walkway. I mean, Nadarama's moving walkway went off fairly regularly. It went off pretty well. I mean, that was a decent bird. It would have been okay. But then I re-rolled it again with another Rama, and it did not come out very well. And Cherry Garcia,
I'm convinced of a very unpopular
through. That gene carries over well.
Ramas fucking suck. Like, unless you have 100 Rama and you're like at the top of S class and you're like jibbity jibbity jibbity.
I disagree because I had a good Rama. And I fused it with I thought with not a good Sultan, but I was trying to make a cold snap Surama, and I fused my 97 Surama that likes snow into a 95 cold snap Sultan, and I ended up with a 95 Sultan, but had cold snap snow and magically got talent preference correct. Must have been from the Surama because it freezes 7 on snow.
Surama.
What?
But there's no press on Surama.
No, but they still have a talent preference. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they still have the talent preference.
So it rolled over into the Sultan, but the Sultan's garbage. It's they got like 1 win in 60 races. It's ridiculous.
Something also to keep in mind is that we are still in the first season with a lot of these birds sitting at their MPOs. So things are going to get mixed up. And that's really the biggest case that we had for the dynamic MPO was just to mix it up a little bit more, to have more of that fluid movement, and your birds might They might have a better chance of surviving when they're not going against the same beasts over and over again. If we do pivot back to dynamic, we don't know yet. We do know we're in a lull at the moment again because we are waiting. We do know that last week Apex said that they are prepping up the next big announcement that they'll be letting us know where they're going next. We did just finalize the council voting and whatnot. That was on the roadmap, so that's been checked off. So now we wait to see what's kind of next. The Fusion was a success. Once again, a flawless launch. They just know how to do that. They make sure that whatever product they're dropping to us, it is ready to go by the time they drop it to us. That I don't think there's been a hiccup in any of their launches that they've done.
Right.
But now we wait for what comes next. And the only other thing worth mentioning is that in regard to getting more eyes on the game, the gentleman from Haku has come back in and talked to us a little bit. There's something there about bringing the Chicken Derby marketplace, or at least some place to really look and dissect these birds directly to where the Zed players already are accustomed to being. And that could bring things over because there is some issues going on in Zed. I mean, it feels like there's always issues going on with Zed. But a lot of the one of the biggest things that I feel, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but if I was a brand new Coop coming into this game and I started looking at the marketplace, I wouldn't know where to begin.
Right.
At all. I wouldn't know where
Especially
to start,
when you see Fused Chicken 538. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Without seeing on our marketplace the different kind of graphs and grids and whatnot that we see on Chicken.tools and we see at D3, it's a difficult ask to figure out. But with Haku, hell, I sold something a few weeks ago. It was a project that had since kind of fallen off, but it had a little resurgence because someone else bought it up. And I'm like, I don't know what this thing is worth. I don't know what to do here. But then they were on Haku. So I went and checked it out, saw that I had a pretty good one, and I sold it. And I sold it for, a decent amount. So there's a major use case for Haku, whether it's just to help us find the birds we want, but also to get this in front of people that want to race and like racing. And Zed is the obvious community there.
My 95 Sultan just balked in a S race. Is it going to beat some 100 Ramas?
I've had 2 BAWKs lately where I was attempting to down class both times, and I ended in 12th.
I just filled it. I filled it because it was 11 to 12, and I thought I could get some action up on the screen. And we could see fucking Norman Barrett here. This bird.
Norman. Oh, my goodness.
That bird is... Don't let his fine looks and top hat and dapper style fool you. That bird will pull a crowbar and mug you for your lunch money.
Yeah. Alrad was excited that he got 100 Rama, and all I sent was, Norman anxiously awaits your arrival.
Yes.
Norman's there to mess you up.
Yes, Norman will be there waiting.
Ready to get you. All right, we lost BAWK.
Yeah, he dipped. Got Floofy in the background. How's it going, Floof?
So BAWK's out. We need a BAWK replacement now.
Yeah.
Revolving door. And then there was 2.
Blue Devil, Alien Freak, Makes Sense. Ooh, what's that? Is that a fused bird?
Looks like it might be.
Is that one of the fused dramas you made, Sid?
Striped white, that'd be beautiful, yeah.
Striped white beat?
Front.
Oh, God.
Another fused
That's
bird.
fucking all rads.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Norman's there.
Yeah, Norman's creeping. My bird is in last place.
That's good. That's what you wanted.
Right. So BAWK could
exactly
mean,
what you wanted.
Last place. Hey, there you
BAWK
are,
and
tweet.
then last place. Perfect.
You bird.
That's what you want to see.
So Ariad got second. So his donkey might not be a donkey after all.
Yeah, I wonder how that bird's hanging. Maybe one day I'll have 100 Sarama.
Yeah, I tried. I feel pretty bad about it.
Yeah.
But
I'll
try again.
I know you will.
I will.
All right, so shall we wrap this one up then? I think we've hit basically everything we want to get at. We're waiting for the next thing to happen. We'll see what comes next, and hopefully the new council that we have here will uh, push through and unite the community a little bit, bring some people back, bring people some racing again. We get another. We of course have another U event right now, another CC Sprints that's out number 4. That fires off Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you still have a little bit of time. It's so funny. No matter how much time we put out in front, we get the 17 to 22 entries, and 75% of them come with an hour left. Like it's just the way the community is. I get it.
Yes. So Sid says this is
really frustrating to BAWK because I know. I got all this shit set up. We got it coded. We're ready to go. You motherfuckers, let's go. It's like, yep.
I tag some people and they're like, "Hey, thanks for the tag." I send Wham a text like, "Oh, my bad, drops 4 birds in." Like,
Sydney, this bird is dope. It's 100 Sultan, but I love that you can see the blue tint in its stripes.
Oh, you can see that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
that's
sharp.
a good looking bird.
Yeah.
That's a real good looking bird.
If it had like a blue or white comb and wattle. Now he's going to go fuse it again.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you like it? See you later.
Blue or white comb and wattle? Yes, sir.
Right.
Cold snap, you say? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Cold snap on that bird would be dope.
It would.
With that blue tint stripe. Yes, sir.
All right, so we will keep you updated. Obviously, I'll send out some more notices when we get a little bit closer to the start of our next tournament, but it is live right now. There's live to register. Just pop on in. We're back to the .005.
Link is in the video at the bottom.
There you go. Links in the video. We're back to like that $10 range, .005, back up from.
Make sure you send it on Poly mainnet, not ETH mainnet.
Yes.
Don't spend all that money.
Yeah. I think that's a lot what it is that people are just waiting to hold that last $10 that they don't want to put the $10 in there until they absolutely have to. And that's probably part of it again. People don't want to wait.
I'm telling you all, as a community, we are going to do something fun and fast. We're evolving the BAWKer as we go. We're refining the code. Like just every iteration we're doing it, we're just getting a little bit better. And we're going to start doing fast things. Like my idea is I want to see a Friday night fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 10 people in there and we just fucking slam, bam, 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 bam. And we just slam races for 2 hours and see what the hell can happen. You know, like who can win? And maybe it's not Wham.
Oh, it'll still be Wham.
It might still be Wham. He's got good birds.
I'm going to find when he sleeps. I'm going to run some averages on when he doesn't enter races, and we're going to run a freaking event in the 2 hours that he's offline.
All I got to do is not text him, and he'll forget to enter.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's been AWOL 2 weeks in a row. Have we done a well check on him?
Yeah, we got to see.
Talked to him just the other day, or really?
No,
Wham!
I'm used to
we love you. Ping me, bro.
He's usually the one driving us to race, and here I am, been yelling out, "Let's race," and we haven't done it yet. We just keep entering races over here.
Yeah.
And Tyler keeps trying to like end the show, you know. Anyways,
Josh just wants his $5 races to fill.
I do.
I want to win.
Yeah, we don't have.
Put a timer on him. This wouldn't happen.
You're right.
I think it's great. That's great. As we outro.
What if they put a 24-hour timer on races? Seriously, like like 24 hours or 48 hours maximum.
If you can pay out, like this is not.
And even
hard.
so, with MPO now, I'm mostly saying let's reset the ones that are pre-MPO for sure.
Yeah,
let's just get rid of those, wipe them, get rid of them, refund them, be done. But going post-MPO world, now that we've got, once those are cleared out, now we've got all fresh races that are all post-MPO. Now you can set it to where they just run after the timer. If there's two
I
birds in
think
the race,
if you
it's
can instantiate post
two birds in the
like
race. But how does the
the
rake work on that?
the payout structures, you just need to publish it, just like we do with Coop Collective. Publish the payout structures from a 2-bird race all the way up to a 12. Let them be known. And when it fucking runs, it runs. Like it would be awesome if it was 24 hours. If it's head to head, I would honestly jump into a race where I was going head to head to go like head to head for $90.
Well,
I
think
would
about
do
it like that. Like,
other than like a freaking 3-month lead time.
well, I
5,
mean,
6.
think about like you talk some shit in the main chat, and it's like, well, let's settle it. Let's race these birds. Let's race them now, and you know that race is going to go off in 48 hours, whether it's full or not.
Yep,
Yeah.
I love it.
So I mean, it doesn't lose the allure. You got 48 hours to build up shit talk, and who knows? Maybe it fills. But if it doesn't fill, it's still running regardless.
I'll talk mad smack on that.
So just to clean up
Let
one
Eggy
thing,
win.
And then if the timer, starts, right? Whether there's a bird in the race or not, I'd say the timer should start. Because imagine people
first entry.
Because not even first entry. I say a timer runs on them. Because imagine you see a race that's $100 and it's got 30 minutes left on the timer, you could convince a couple people to jump in that thing and run a 3
that
for
might be the
all,
FOMO.
or,
That's
you know what I mean?
That's why
You know
I
what
would
I'm saying?
love to test
you hear
it.
me clucking, Big Chicken?
Well, that's where I'd love to test it on the races that are already properly set up with MPO. I'd love to see that happen there. Where it's like the ones that like not like the one you're in, Josh, where there's 2 100 consultants in there. No one wants to join that race because there's 2 100 consultants in A class.
No.
But the ones that already have all the birds that should be there in their MPO, I'd love to put a timer on one of those and see who bites. And just it'd be a perfect setup.
$50, I'll be balking. I'll be balking all damn day. Let's do it. Come on.
mean, just think about it. Like if they put, like I said, as soon as it generates, it's got a 48-hour clock on it. And if it doesn't fill or anyone enter it, it just goes away and regenerates a new race.
What? All right, Mr. Council Member. Let's freaking do that.
Believe me, I'm trying. That is the worst kept secret in the game is me bitching about trying to get those timers on these. Every chance I've had, I've yelled it out loud that I think it's an obvious play to try to get these things moving because I know even to this day, I know when the NBA finals come, I'm going to be like, I'm going to watch this. I want to throw $50 on the game and I'll do it like an idiot, even though I know I'll lose. So I'd do it with chickens if I actually thought I had a shot. So it's there.
How many people have, and you've seen it, like Tyler in the past, maybe not so much lately, but like in the past, there's been people that come in out of nowhere and they throw a freshie in like a $30 race or a $10 race.
Actually, I was just looking. One of the races that are stuck is not stuck but stalled is an account I've never seen. I don't think they're still racing. I'm pretty sure they only own the one bird, and they're in there with only like 3 or 4 races. So yeah, some people do show up. That's the thing. If you market that to people and say, hey, you can show up and run $50 races, and they run run guaranteed.
So
we're in limbo between like that whole play to earn, play to play, fucking the whole crypto world, then the whole gambling world. We're like in this whole like weird offset in the middle, and I don't want to do that. I want to see. I want to throw down. I want BAWK Mama to say no. That's enough.
I want to have to be told to stop.
Stop it.
Speaking of stop it, I know Josh.
Trippa congratulations. Trippa Snippa just fused a 100 Sarama translucent moving walkway.
Well, just to piggyback back on what Sydney said, Trippa's 100 translucent Rama with teal is his favorite looking bird in the game.
And he just fused
it. That's the bird he used. That's the bird he used to get the one moving. It had chicken default and teal, so he basically rolled the dice on the teal, lost the teal, gained the moving walkway. So
you got to roll the dice on the teal lock and translucent, but still, 100 translucent moving walkway. I envy you
Beautiful.
because that's literally the color that Cherry Garcia is, and he ended up a.
Josh, the next time you do it, you're going to get a runic. It's just it's mathematically
yeah.
already set in stone. You can't fail again.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I told BAWK Mama about 5
Hey,
times.
see, this is what I'm saying. The data guy
Never
agrees.
fucking worked.
Oh, beautiful! What a bastard!
Man.
I still want a translucent.
I do too.
I
I
just
got
want
one. I got one in.
mutation.
I got one
I know,
in
you're
beta.
right.
I got one in beta fusion, and then I fused that
Yeah.
asshole into a 95. I gave him stripes, alien eyes, and I matched up as much as I could. That was so much fun. Like,
Well, you also had like what a
300.
total of 400
yeah, a bunch of serums.
serums. Like, yeah.
Ooh.
It was
Well,
fun.
hold on.
Yeah,
That's about as. No, I spent 500.
Yeah.
No.
Nuts.
Did
It
they
was
give us
only
300
50.
and 300? I know
Yeah, it was a lot.
Jotes
You had a lot,
gave
man.
me some serums and some birds, and then
Yeah,
I
you-
ended
you
up
were
not
definitely
even
in
getting
the-
them all fused.
Yeah.
Ah, man, that's such a good
I
looking
think
bird, though.
a good closing caption on this though is
Mhm.
we need to go back to dynamic PO. We need these big races to fill with a contract change so that we can run lower numbers. I prefer 2. That's my opinion. But and then we really need to have a clear direction on land. And I feel like there's a lot of sentiment around breeding on that, but honestly, I have to tell you, sorry, fellas, I don't really give a fuck about breeding. We're at least a year out, at least, if not 2.
All these
we can
people
discuss
fusing
that
100 Brahmas. What's going on? Our dog and
we
just
can
fused
we can
100
discuss
Brahma.
that again another time for sure, because the breeding conversation, there is some things in there about bringing people in with the breeding, but we need the racers first. We need a really good base of racers first, and then we need to bring people in and get them hooked. And even though they thought they just came in for breeding, they get hooked on the racing. But we need more
This
racers
ain't a
first.
fucking breeding game, though.
Yeah. I mean, it will be. Yeah.
No,
But yeah.
it should never be. It's a racing game. Did anyone
Man.
see Kagi going, I bred a bird, juice in the bird? No, he raced it. This is a racing game, and let's concentrate on that.
At the moment, I agree. I don't
wanna-
agree that I don't agree that it's not a breeding game down the line, but I
Right.
agree right now. Let's not focus on that. That's
Breeding
totally
to
fine.
me is an NFT thing. It's like, oh, I need my NFTs to make more NFTs.
No, but not in the sense that you can breed monsters that you can race. That's the whole beauty of the concept, is that you can breed something new. I mean, that's what Fusion has done for us. We have new things to race, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is a complete loop back into me always saying that fusion is nothing but breeding in the opposite direction.
It might be.
I love y'all.
And on that note, bye. No.
Our dog had
Josh,
made
any
100
final thoughts?
Brahma
Son of a bitch.
just
Oh
now.
God, really?
Yeah, he took a 100 Dork white beak and fused it with his 99 Sarama with the teal. I'd like to know what he locked. Did you lock 100 and roll the dice on Sarama? Or did you lock
Yeah, it would be
Sarama
cool to
and
show
roll the
what the
dice
locks
on
were,
199?
They
It would be
mentioned they might
interesting to
touch
see
on
that.
I would like to see
Yeah.
that in the genealogy. Like, what got locked? What was locked
Mhm.
to create this? I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, because if
I'm
you were
actually
just a
glad
psychic-
that I don't have any S birds anymore, or even A birds. I have fused down into lower classes.
That's the only thing I've said to Josh. I was like, "You be careful what you wish for, wanting 100 Sarama with all these
Fuck
absolute
that. I want
beasts up there
that,
now."
bro. If
I
all
know,
the
I
best
know you
prizes and shit are going to be up in S class with the 100
Mm-hmm.
Ramas, I want a fucking 100 Rama because I want to compete, motherfucker. Let's go.
Go!
Take all my money. I don't care.
But there's like 20 races a week, bro. Like, I don't know how you fix that, by the way.
I mean,
That-
it should
that's
be a lot better
that
now.
is like
I mean, there's
next
been like
episode
30
for sure.
I bet. What are we at? Like almost 40 100 Saramas been made now?
Well, on that note, Trippa just said in the main chicken coop, I had to fuse the previous one, couldn't stand watching it race and be a donkey. So, like, yeah, and I think it was like 6, 8, and 10 and 100. So there it is, not great. So I get it. there's a lot of competition up there now, and we'll see how this all pans out slowly as they start moving through the well, not the hundreds. I mean, the 100 Ramas, they're
Ooh.
up there for good, but
It, I feel like it was an effort to try to move some birds
Locked
up,
Rama. Damn.
mhm.
Our dog, all
but
you guys with the
I
luck.
feel like there's actually less competition in S now. I mean, there's some new players, but I fused myself, or BAWK
I
Mama
I
has the
would
bird, but
say
I fused myself out of S on
I
purpose
would say
and was
more
happy
birds
about it.
fused out of A into S. Because if you think about it, a
Yeah.
lot of these people making these 100 Ramas were buying 100 dorks, fusing them with the Rama, getting
Yes,
100 Rama.
yes.
And so
A lot
that
of that,
removes a 100 dork from A class and moves a
Mhm.
100 Rama up into S class, which, I mean, it balances out the two, but the volume between the two wasn't great to begin with. So,
You know,
um,
we've had a fair amount of Seramas fused, man. I'd be
A
curious to see
bunch.
how many are
percentage
gone?
wise. Yeah, based on the original count, percentage wise, which
I mean,
is
we've
like how much of a
had.
dent
I think
is
I
in
think I
Serama.
saw like Daniels posted the number earlier. It was like 1,400 birds have been fused,
Mm-hmm.
and like seven. So we're on what was that Fusion
That was
7?
747, I think.
The newest one was our Doggin's new 100 Rama 745.
745, yeah.
Yeah, so we've almost had 1,500 birds fused. And almost 745 added back. Well, not to mention the ones that have been named. So, again, that
Right.
number
Yeah.
should be higher than that. That might be like 760, 780.
Probably is, yeah.
So, yeah, I would have to imagine a good 20%, 30% of those fused birds were probably Seramas.
I mean, a lot of the big moves.
I mean, a
were
lot
made
of
there.
them
I
mine
mean, yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Most of mine were, I think, except I've
I'd be
fused a
interested
couple
to see that.
dorks together, but most of mine
Oh.
were Seramas getting fused into something
Only
else to
one.
try and make them better. Like I fused Casey Jones, I fused Althea, I fused Kodiak Valley, and got them all.
Murdered all your sultans.
Well, I put
I mean, Seramas. Murdered them all.
no, I made new ones, but
I know,
like
yeah.
Casey Jones
All right.
ended up with a white beak, and
Right.
yeah. So anyway,
Fair enough.
yeah. So I guess next week we'll be back. Let's see some fusions. Post some fusions on Twitter. Let's see them in the Discord.
Let's see
We'll
them.
see them in the
Let's see
Fusion
'em.
Lab channel, but make sure you're getting them circulating. Some good-looking birds getting made out there. From us at the Coop Collective, I am at Grateful Coops. You can check us out in the Coop Collective Discord or the Chicken Derby Discord, which has been revamped, by the way, looking real fresh. Congrats today on Apex getting that done.
Steamer.
Yeah, fuck off.
Okay, send us off.
No,
Bye bye.
just gotta throw that in there, you dick.
Love y'all.
Steve Marmot's
Son of
probably.
a bitch. You're a son of a bitch.